Welcome to Brain Vision.
Problem 11.49. We have a sign hanging from your restaurant. The sign has the given dimensions and it's 28 kilograms, but it's the forces from the sign are transmitted to this beam by this pair of wires here, each of which are 32 centimeters long, and they're spaced 90 centimeters apart. So what we want to find is the tension in this cable here, and we also want to find the minimum vertical force that the hinge has to be able to support without breaking. So if we call these W for wires, the first thing that's handy to do is to find out what the tension in the wires is. They're equally spaced around the center of mass of the sign. So this is just the mass of the sign divided by 2 times the acceleration of gravity. And this is 137 newtons. So we're going to want to know this angle theta here because we're going to use the equilibrium condition involving torques. And so we need to know what the angle is. And so that's going to be the arc cosine of the 1.5 meters of the beam divided by the 2 meters of the cable. And I've omitted the little m's for meters because they cancel out here. So theta is 41.4 degrees. So the sum of the torques has to equal 0. Now, we call TC is the tension in the cable. Its moment arm is going to be the sine of our theta times the 1.5 meter length of the bar. Oh, we're computing the torques about this point because we don't know what the forces are here. It's a little difficult to find out. So, whereas what's going on over here is easier because we don't know all of the weights and things. And what we want is the tension right now. So, and then in the opposite direction, the weight is 75 centimeters away from here because it's 1.5 meters long and is uniform. And then we have the tension in one wire. This is going to be multiplied by the 1.5 meters from this wire and the 0.6 meters for this wire. Now this has to equal 0. So just solve this for TC, add these things to both sides, then divide by the sine of theta times 1.5 meters. And so the tension in the cable is 409 newtons. So far, so good. Here we want to use the conditions of equilibrium where all of the y components of the forces cancel and all of the x components of the forces cancel. So for the y direction, we have the y force from the hinge plus the tension force is y component. Those are both acting upwards. And then minus the weight of the beam, and then minus the weight, or the tension rather, in both of the wires, which is due to the weight of the sine. So subtract all of this off from both sides. And the y, or vertical component of the force at the hinge, is 161 newtons. And so that's the force that this has to be able to withstand vertically in order not to break. And then you have probably some sort of accident with the sign, and liability issues, and you don't want that. So make sure you buy a strong enough hinge.